Well, President Bola Tinubu and the All Progressives Congress appear heading for a resounding victory in the 2027 general election on the current state of alignments and all the realignments of the Nigerian political landscape. However, there is a school of thought who have called for caution, arguing that there's too much ground to cover for those who are serious about making the best out of the opportunities that will be presented by those elections. APC Chieftain Dr. George Agbakahi joins us now to discuss the gathering momentum towards the 2027 general election, why Tinubu is the man to beat, and the controversy over the Electoral Act amendment bill. Thank you so much for joining us here on Newsday.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I appreciate it.
So just as the intro said, exactly why is current President Tinubu the man to beat come 2027?
Well, the answer is quite clear. You alluded to it in your introduction. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has done a whole lot to improve the well-being of the Nigerian people, as well as fulfilling the aspiration of majority of Nigerians. You know, when he came in, our country was in turmoil economically. But he came in and instituted a paradigm shift. As a matter of fact, a pretty significant shift from the old order, from the former status quo, whereby the exchange rate as well as the fuel subsidy was all out there full of corruption. So he came in and extricated these two areas and introduced, reforms, initiatives, very bold initiatives that has started working in this country. That is exactly what we're talking about. The president is going to run on his record. He has a track record of accomplishment. Was it not yesterday or two, I think sometime last week, the inflation has come down considerably to 15.10%. You remember vividly when the president removed the fuel subsidy, and as well as the exchange rate. In that 2023, at some point, the inflation rate rose to about 34.6%. But there has been a 10-month steady decline to 15.10%. And simultaneously, food inflation has also come down considerably to about 8.89%. Food items, as we speak, are pretty normal. I was in the market last time, truly. I'm a middle-class guy. I bought a mudu of gari for 500 naira. Sometime last 2 years, at some point it was about 1,600 naira. A bag of rice, currently as we speak, sometimes you get it about 50,000 naira. 3 years ago, sometimes it was about 80-something thousand naira. So a lot is happening. Our trade surplus, in September we added about $18.81 billion, sometime September 2026. So a lot is going on. Look at our foreign reserves. When President Tinubu came on board, our foreign reserve was about 34 billion. As we speak today, it's 49 billion. So a lot is happening. The president has done a whole lot. Look at student loan. Student loan is an area that is is an area that is woman-driven. It has put smiles on the faces of a lot of parents. As we speak, 116 billion naira, has been disbursed to students and universities in respect of, tuition fees, and their allowances. So the president has done a lot. Is it in agriculture? Is it in education?
All right.
Is it in
FAC
allocation to states?
For the sake of time, please allow me to interrupt you. You've given us your own facts and figures. I would like to give you, the reality of the average Nigerian. And let's do a little comparison between now and 2023 when the president came into power. Now, between now and 2023 when the president came into power, the standard of living is lower. A lot of Nigerians are poorer. The naira is not as valuable as it was in 2023. Insecurity is at an all-time high. Now, supporters of the president, like yourself, believe that he's the man to beat. But critics would argue that the current economic hardship and the insecurity pervasive in the land could weaken his re-election chances. How would you respond to that? Are you going to deny all these realities that I've pointed out?
I disagree totally with that assertion. You're talking of the naira. The exchange rate is coming down. As at yesterday, it was about 1,300.
I'm talking about between now and 2023 when President Buhari was in power. And I'm sure you'd remember that Nigerians also found that period extremely difficult. Nobody ever imagined that we could actually sink this lower. So I'm talking about how much the naira was to the dollar in 2023 before this current administration took office and how much it is now. Are you telling me there's not a large gap between the two?
You know fully well that prior to President Tinubu coming on board, Nigeria was running an artificial economy because of the multiple exchange rates, as well as that fuel subsidy regime that was absolutely corrupt. The president came in as a bold and transformational leader. He had the gut, he had the audacity, he had the political will to get rid of these corrupt practices. He said it even when he was removing, the fuel subsidy. The president made Nigerians to know that it was going to be hard. And I told you when I started my commentary, it was hard initially.
It is still hard,
but
Dr. Agbakahi. It is still hard. That's what I want you to acknowledge. It is still hard. Trying to paint it as if everything is now great, I think that has been dishonest. That has been very dishonest with Nigerians.
No. I'm not. He's not being disingenuous in any way. No. Withdraw that statement. He's not being disingenuous. What I'm saying is this: a bag of rice, when President Tinubu came on board, when the exchange rate and the fuel subsidy was extricated, we all knew it was about 80-something thousand naira. But currently, I bought it, it was about 55,000 naira. What I'm saying is that gradually, food prices are coming down. You see what I'm saying? Gradually, some of the policies are working. Look at the CNG, compressed natural gas, of over 1,000 buses plying on the streets of Nigeria. Trying to save costs in respect of transportation. Is that not a good one? Look at the kind of amount of money that is going to states and local government. Before President Tinubu came on board, FAC, as of June 2023, distributed only 934 billion naira. But as of today, they distributed 1,969 trillion. Is that not a step in the right direction? And that is why you see states getting engaged in a lot of infrastructural development.
Right.
Go to Imo State, my home state. Our governor, distinguished Senator Hope Uzodimma, he has built a lot of roads with all these monies that are coming from the FAC. And the same thing is applicable to other states. I'm talking about the Southeast, where I know very well.
Okay,
Go to
Dr.
Enugu
Agbakahi.
State. A lot is being done.
We
Yes.
hear you. Thank you. Let's just change gears a little bit and talk about more current affairs. We've seen the National Assembly in the last couple of hours. There's the tense divide, obviously, over Clause 60. The Senate has retained a provision for manual backup of results, voting results, in case of network failure. Well, given the public's desire for 100% electronic transparency and also the protests outside of the National Assembly and, public outcry in general, how does the APC justify this move without appearing to be in collusion of some sort of fraudulent voting systems, and also the IREV portal, the disintegration of it?
You know very well that we are running a democracy, a three-tier system of government. The National Assembly is independent of the executive. The states and the local government, they are all separate bodies. I think the National Assembly, they looked at it. If you look at that clause 60, section 3, that talked about, transmission, electronic transmission of results. You also have to understand that in the past, because of this technology glitches that is very prevalent in the country, because of the nature, of, electricity system that we have. You and I know very well, even you in your office, sometimes you make a call to somebody close to you in your office and you will not get that person. That is exactly what the Senate, the National Assembly, was looking at. It is also unconstitutional to deprive any voter, his result being forwarded to, the IREV. What I'm saying is this. If there is a computer glitch, electronic issue, in the past, the result of that particular community will not be sent to the system, either, to the local government and to the, state and onward to the federal, in Abuja. That is the reality. So I think the Senate, they looked at it, and the House, they felt that it's pretty unwise, not to make certain votes count. So what they are saying is that in that clause 63, they are now also retaining the manual in such a way that if there is computer glitch and a particular community, their vote is not going, either to the local government or to the national, that they can as well use the form EC8A, so long as it is being, signed and stamped by the presiding officer, and at the same time countersigned, by the polling agents or even candidates of the political parties. In our democracy, Form EC8A has become the nucleus of our election system. After all, the same result that is being uploaded and sent, to the IREV, that is that same result that is in the Form EC8A. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. So I don't think there is there is nothing really wrong about it. It's not anti-democracy in any way. I'm not a member of the House. I leave it for members of the House of Rep and Senate, to look into this. But in my own view, You know, I don't think it is disingenuous in any way, you know, to have it that way.
Dr. Agbakahi, we've heard you, you know, but it's just mind-boggling, really, that we've never thought about the fact that it's possible to actually boost the country's technological capacity ahead of 2027 instead of staying stuck in the past. And ultimately, it just seems it is the APC and not Nigerians that will benefit. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.